Okay, this is the last part of section 3.5, and we're solving, we're dividing, we're using division to help us solve. So I've got -6 times some number p, and that equals to -42. So again, you could put a times in here if you want. So what am I going to do? We're just going to keep doing what we've been doing, and we're going to divide both sides by -6. So those cancel out. And what's a negative divided by a negative? Negative divided by a negative is a positive. So our answer is going to be positive. And what's 42 divided by 6? Well, that is 7, and so my answer is +7. Let me do a bigger number where we need to use our calculator. And this is on 361 on the top. Let's say 120. -120 equals 10q. And my letter this time is on my right hand side, but we still do the same thing. So I've got a 10 here being multiplied by my q. How do I get rid of that 10? I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing, and I'm going to divide both sides by 10. Okay, and it does not matter whether the q is on the right or the left hand side. We're going to do the same method either way. So let's say I don't know what 120 divided by 10 is right off the top of my head. So again, I can plug into my TI-30XS. So -120, remember the negative is by the enter, divided by 10. And my answer is -12. So don't forget to put your negative key in front of the 120. So my answer is -12, and that's my solution. Okay, I've got one more of these. What happens when I have 0 in here? Okay, well, -3 times some number w. So -3 times something, what does that w have to be to give me 0? I'm going to do the same thing. What am I going to divide both sides by? If you said -3, you're right. And what's 0 divided by -3, or what really is 0 divided by any number? What's 0 divided by 2, or what's 0 divided by 5? 0 divided by any number is just 0. So I will show you that. So 0, I'm going to put in 0 divided by -3, and I'm going to get 0. So remember, 0 can be at the top, but 0 cannot be, we can't divide by 0. It can't be in the bottom. So w is just 0. Okay, and then I have a couple of translate to an equation, and I'm done. So that's it for solving. So I tried to do examples of all the different types that are on the homework. So if you need me to do more, make sure you email me and let me know. But let's just do a couple translate, okay? So we want, they'll say translate to a math equation and they might have you solve it after you write it. They do in the book, so I'm just, in case they do, I want to make sure you're able to do both. So the difference, so here is what I want to translate from English to math. The difference of B and 5 is equal to -2. So I want to translate that from English to math first. Key word is what? Key word is difference, right? What does difference mean? Difference means to subtract, and when it's just difference and not subtract from or less than, we're just going to go and write it left to right. So the difference of B and 5, I'm just going to write B minus 5 is equal to, put the equal in, -2. So this is in English, this is translated to math. So the difference is minus or subtract left to right. So some number minus 5 is -2. And then they might have you solve it. So can we solve these? We just did a bunch of these. I've got a -5. What do I do to both sides? I'm going to add 5 to both sides because I'm going to do the opposite. And hopefully these are getting easier for you. And what is a -2 and a +5? Or, remember, we're going to subtract and take the sign of who has more, either who has the more positives or who has the more negatives. So 5 minus 2 is 3, and there's more positives with the 5, so my answer is 3. So they want you to write it out and then solve it. And I'm going to do one more of these. I want you to see one with a less than to make sure you can do one of those. So, okay, so that's first one. And again, we're going to translate to a math equation and solve. So, let's see, 13 less than n is, -10. So I want to write this sentence out. 13 less than n means is equal to -10. So my key words here is less than. But remember, when I have less than or subtracted from, we're not going to go left to right. We're going to put the letter up front first. Okay, and that's only for less than or subtracted from. So this means that the 13 is being taken away from the n. So we're going to put n first, So n minus 13 is equals negative 10. Okay, put some paper over here so I can finish that. Okay, so now we're going to solve this. So what am I going to do to both sides? I have a minus 13. What's the opposite of minus 13? I'm going to add 13. I'm going to add 13 to both sides. And these go. And I've got a negative 10 and a 13. I've got a negative and a positive, so I am going to subtract. What is 13 minus 10? It's just 3. Is it positive 3 or negative 3? Who's got more? Well, I'm seeing there's more positives than negatives. There's more positives with the 13 than the negative 10. So n is 3. And I'm done. Okay, so that's the end of 3.5, and that's the end of chapter 3. So next video will be for 4.1. We're going to chapter 4.